maybe some junior administrators, right? Now, I can go into settings now, right, which you never used to be able to do this. When you were on the admin menus or the host menus, you never had access to change the settings, right? You never had access to delete the page. But now, you can see that for my page settings, I can actually go in and assign permissions and give different groups or different users permission to do things. So one of the changes which Sean didn't really talk about is in the permissions model. So not only can I grant people permissions, but now I can specifically deny people permissions. So even if I have a role that includes 50 users and all those users are granted access, I can go in and specifically say, you know what, I don't want XYZ user to be able to do this. So I can go in and now we have deny permission. So not only have we opened up the modules to give you the ability to delegate permissions, but now we've given you more granular control of what those actual permissions are. So allow and deny at both the role and the username level. Pretty cool? So the other part of that too is there are some modules that are so critical to the application or just from a security perspective that we would never ever want you to delegate those modules. The risk to you and your portal is just too great. So there are modules like the SQL module. We're not going to let you delegate that. That's always going to stay a host setting, right? We're going to enforce some minimal level here to say you can't delegate that. There are others, I think, that we won't allow you to delete. So things like host settings and things like that. So we'll be publishing what all of those restrictions are, but it's a very small number of them. They're really just meant to keep you from doing irreparable damage to the install. Most of this stuff you can recover from if you deleted a banner's module. There will be a way to add that module back in if you needed to. But some of these, there's just no way if you delete that module to recover, so we won't let you do that. Okay, yeah, Sean talked about, so let's say I'm on the host menu. So I'm on the SQL page. I want to add a new host item here, and this works across any of our menus. So now I'm going to add a new page here, and we're going to call it my special host page. And now we have this new functionality, right? Can everyone see that? Called before and after. Okay? So I can actually say where I want this inserted before the vendors tab. Okay? So now I can actually insert pages exactly where I want them in the tree structure. How many people here have ever gotten this big tree of pages and had to move things from the bottom to the top? It's a really fun process, right? Everyone. So for us, we think that that's a really cool feature because on DNN.com we have a couple of pages there. So for us, Scott's like, thank God they finally gave me that feature. So that's another big one that we think is pretty important. And it's some of these are just little things, I know, but in the life of an administrator, it's the little things that sort of add up and create a really big pain for the administrator. So
all you administrators have an advocate.
Okay, so and I don't think there's any other really big items here. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of page management and module management from the administrative level and assigning permissions. So the other area that we have a problem with right now is actually zooming in and it starts cropping my page. So now we've said, okay, we've allowed you to delegate permissions and we've allowed you to move some modules around. The other big area that we spent a lot of time on is actual installation. So how many people here have installed a module or installed a skin, and it gets like halfway through the process and you have an error? Anybody that happened to? And so maybe it dropped some files on your system, or maybe it got halfway through the SQL install, and you're not really sure what the situation is, right? So in DNN 5, and I can't really show this here, this is an unscripted demo, so I'm not going to try it at the moment. But one of the features that we added to the installer was a rollback feature. So when you install something, whether it's a skin or a module or a provider or what have you, through the new installer, it will, if there is a problem, attempt to roll back everything that is done. So if it's installed a file, it knows that it installed a file, and it will delete that file on the rollback. If it ran some SQL, it will run the uninstall script to try to get you back to the state you were at. So we're going to do some things that are a little more intelligent. If you looked at the old skins, were a little bit different than the way that the old modules were packaged, right? If you saw Will Stroll's talk this morning, you saw that for skins, they're very simple in that there's no manifest file like there is with a module. But now in DNN 5, we're going to use a unified installer that will allow you to include a manifest, not require you. There's a very key distinction there. Will allow you to include a manifest with your skin, and if you don't include one, we'll basically generate one on the fly in memory. But that allows us to do an uninstall of a skin, right? How many skinners out there have had problems because you install a skin and there's no real way to remove it, right? Right? So with the new installer, now you're going to be able to roll that back. So let's take a look at some of the new features of the installer.
So on that, the admin modules, you can deny permissions to a particular module, and you said you could delete that module also?
Yes, I can come in here. So let's come into I don't really like the event viewer. Maybe that's a really bad one that I think. Site log. Oh, site log. Okay, Scott's like, get rid of the site log. Nobody uses it. So I can actually go in here. I've got all of the same menus that you're used to for the module action menu, and I can delete the site log.
Where do you go?
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, it still goes through cycle bin. But all I did was delete the module there, right? The site log page is still there. What I really need to do is go and delete the site log page, right? So I can do both. I can delete the module on the page, or I can delete the whole page itself. Where that becomes really, that distinction becomes important, someplace like host settings, right? This is not one. There are some of the host and admin pages where you actually have multiple modules on the page, so you could delete the individual modules.
Let's say you have a more advanced version of SiteLog, then you could delete the core version and put a more advanced version on there, leave the menu the same.
Right.
So you could do that.
So, and if I want that back, as long as I didn't delete my recycle bin, delete the recycle bin, I'm not sure where it goes. So we can restore our site log, and unfortunately, yeah. So
yeah, restore the page first.
What was that?
Restore the page first.
Oh yeah.
It still should error.
No, it shouldn't. So I can restore the page. Page is back there now, and now I should be able to.
So it's out of the recycling bin.
Uh-oh.
For whatever reason, you need it back.
And it actually deleted that recycle bin on that error, so that we need to